This is the plaintiff, Karen Thurlow. She says she agreed to buy a truck from the defendant for $6,000. Wrote him a check, and he said he'd mail the title to her. A month later, all she got was a bill demanding another $1,348 for the truck. She refuses to be extorted. The defendant illegally repossessed the truck, and she's suing the crook for $5,000, the state max. This is the defendant, Noel Farbman. He says he was as clear as a bell with the plaintiff, his wife's newly divorced friend. The truck was $7,300 plus tax. She gave him a deposit of $5,000 and told him she'd pay off the balance in a month. The plaintiff then hid the truck for 3 months, but he tracked it down, repoed it, and here they are. He's accused of asking for more and more money.
All right, sir, just step over from me. You can get the paperwork later. Thank you. All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff bought a truck from the defendant for $6,000. The plaintiff never got title, and the defendant demanded more money. But the defendant says the price was never $6,000. It was more. It's the case of forget keep on trucking. She just wants to start.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Karen Thurlow, you are suing Noel Farbman and USA Wholesale Scooters and Noel Motors, represented here by Mr. Farbman. You're the owner?
Yes.
All right, for $5,000. You're actually out, according to you, in excess of the statutory maximum. You say you're out $6,000 that you paid for a truck that you want him to return your money on. Tell me what's going on.
It all started on May 20th of 2011. We talked about him looking for a truck for me. He asked me how much I could spend on a truck. I said $6,000 is the limit I could go with. Gave him a check for $6,000. He found me a truck. I gave him the check for $6,000 with the keys he gave me. After I gave him the check, he gave me the keys.
Where's the paperwork on the sale? The bill of sale, the contract for the purchase of the car?
No bill of sales. No bill of sale.
Why was there no bill of sale?
He never gave me a bill of sales.
There has to be a bill of sale and a contract for the purchase of the car. Hello?
There was a bill of sale originally.
Can I see it?
I don't have one.
How can you not see? How can you not have one when
Because
it's your business
it's
and this
4
is the,
years. It's 4
but this
years
is the
ago.
entire. It's not more than 4 years ago.
3 years ago.
Okay. Did you have it 3 years
Yes,
ago?
absolutely.
Was there a bill of sale anywhere?
Absolutely. The Department of Motor Vehicle had it.
Do you have something to show me today to show me what the purchase price of the car was?
Yes. This is the readout of the car itself, of all of what I paid
What's
for
a
it.
readout?
Well, what I had into the vehicle.
No, this is you writing on a piece of paper.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use this as a doily for my water. Now I want you to give me something that is actually of legal significance. Anything. How did you lose this paperwork?
Well, it's been
No, it doesn't matter, Spencer. You know you're supposed to keep it longer than that.
Well, after she went to 3 different
Are
agencies.
you telling me every 2 years you throw out paperwork? Come on.
No. I
You're
just couldn't
supposed to
find
have.
it. In this,
you should have found this, right?
I believe me, I searched. I couldn't find it.
So you lost this, right?
It's probably in my office somewhere, but I cannot find it.
Yeah, I should make you more nervous than that. You should have looked harder. Wow. All right. So according to you, you were supposed to pay $6,000, and according to you, she was supposed to pay what?
$73.50.
Okay. And what happens? You pay him $6,000 and you get the car. You have a canceled check for $6,000. There's nothing on the memo line. Doesn't say partial payment, full payment. It says nothing. Go on.
So after I have had the truck for like a month.
But wait, when you paid in full and for $6,000, where was the title?
He told me it was in the mail. It would be in the mail. I would get it like 3-4 weeks later. Never got it.
Who's the guy who keeps interrupting you? Who is he to you?
My boyfriend.
Okay. So did you ever get a title?
No.
What ended up happening?
He ended up doing, my brother can explain this.
Oh, I thought that was your boyfriend.
This is
Oh. The guy interrupting is your brother then. Okay.
So.
What we have is the title DMV provided to us. And we also have...
Okay, but you never got a title from him. Why not?
He kept saying it was...
Well, forget him. I want to know what's in your brain.
I know. Well,
what?
Well, finally, what happened was he ended up repoing my car.
No,
and
I
never
know.
got the title.
What's in your brain when you hand a guy $6 grand and you don't even own the car because he doesn't hand you the title? That's what I'm asking. I was what?
I was married for 20 years. My ex-husband took care of everything. I didn't know to ask for a title buying my first truck.
Where was your brother at the time?
At that time that she gave the check, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
All through the rest of the process, I have.
Right. So did she tell you she didn't get a title?
Yeah, and then we kept asking him about, where's the title? How come this is, being done like
And
this?
what was his answer?
I can't find it right now. It'll be sent to you through the mail.
But at some point, this answer changes and it's you owe me money. You still haven't finished paying for it. When did the answer change and become that?
He sent me a piece of paper. I have horses. His girlfriend had a horse. He put it in my horse's. I have a little place for my hay. He put a piece of paper in there saying that I owe him another $1,348. I'm like, what? Really? No, I don't. I gave you a check. You gave me the keys, and off I went. So I don't know.
So did you ever call him back and say to him, "What are you talking about? I don't know."
Yeah, I did. I said, I told you $6,000 is all I could afford for a truck. So I don't know where this $1,348 is coming from, Noel. I don't know.
And then, did he say to you, "I'm not giving you the title till you finish paying me"?
Yeah.
Why don't they have? Why didn't she have the title?
I had the title because I was the lien holder. I had the paper here from the DMV showing.
Right. You filed a lien on her because, according to you, she needs to pay you more. She didn't finish paying for it.
Correct.
But you don't have a stitch of proof that she has agreed to pay you more than what she paid you that day.
Well, I do here because right here on the motor vehicle papers, sales tax is $441. That would be on $73.50.
How do I know that? Prove that.
Well, it's 6% in Florida.
No, honey, you're not picking up what I'm putting down, are you? Your defense is she hasn't finished paying for the car. That entails you proving that she has to pay more for the car than what she says you agreed to.
Correct.
I see a payment to you of $6,000.
Yes.
If that is a partial payment, then the missing link here is you proving to me that she agreed to purchase a car for $73 whatever.
Right.
Do you own a dealership?
Yes.
So you know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly, yeah.
It's
That's
like
why
you're
right on
in violation of several regulatory rules to not have the paperwork. So really, I don't even know how you were able to get the lien on, but you got a lien on, and then what happened? Then the car gets repoed, but not before she hid it for a while.
Yes.
Okay, and you believe she was hiding it because you had told her, "I'm going to repossess it if you don't pay me the additional money."
Yes.
That you cannot prove in my court that she owed you because you
Yes.
have no paperwork as a dealer. All right. I mean, I'm used to people coming in here and saying, "I lost my paperwork, the dog ate my homework." I'm just not used to dealers telling me that they lost dealership paperwork. And I know that you guys were kind of friends, right?
Yes.
I was friends with his girlfriend.
Right. And according to you, you were kind of trying to help her out because she had just gotten a divorce and she was kind of lost, and so you're trying to hook her up. So was there ever paperwork in this case, or was it all verbal?
No, there was paperwork.
And you guys don't have the paperwork?
Here's what we have. This is the application for certificate of title without registration.
Which who filled out?
Mr. Frobin, we believe, because we
Okay.
weren't there when he filled it out, obviously, so
Okay.
but the signature at the bottom of this document is not her signature. It says her name there, but it's not her signature. We have notarized documents that predate this transaction that will show what her signature actually looks like.
Let me see the document that you're talking about.
Here's
one
the
in your
document
hand.
we're talking
Yeah.
about. Here are the notarized documents that show her signature.
You want a license?
Yeah, you got a license on you?
My license?
No, her license, so I can see how she signs. Did you ever ask your sister, "Let me see the contract you signed"?
We never.
Yeah, and we tried to get it from him.
No, did you ever ask your sister, "What the heck? Why'd you let go of $6 grand without a contract"?
Well, I knew why, because her husband, as she spoke about before, handled everything for her during her marriage.
I know, but you can still go like this. And
Well, I know.
Okay.
I know. I told
Maybe
her
not
to,
physically, but
honestly, I told
proverbially.
her not to deal with him in the first place because I knew he was a crook.
Did you sign this on her behalf somehow? Application for certificate of title without registration?
Absolutely not.
Her T's are nothing like this T. This is somebody else's T. She has a really weird kind of T that looks like a backward K. It's kind of cool. Especially because her first name starts with a K. And it's on every document, including her paperwork from this court case and her license. This is absolutely somebody else signing. Whose signature is this? Because it's not hers.
So Do men take advantage of women when it comes to buying cars?
Yes, of course, all the time.
Why, of course?
Because women don't know that much about cars, so
That's a pretty general statement. Is that a true statement?
I think so.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think that they just play on our emotions versus the facts.
Well, but do you let your emotions get in the way?
No.
we want pretty things.
Yeah, exactly.
We want pretty things. Going inside the courtroom.
Who did the paperwork?
The girl that used to work for me,
The woman that used to work for you, right?
the woman.
Okay. That's, somebody else signed this. It wasn't her. I can tell you that. We don't need an expert to conclude that. So you repossess the car. What happens with the car? You sell it?
Yes,
But there was some delay in the sale.
yes.
Talk to me about that.
It was held up by the Broward County Sheriff's Department until they can investigate the whole situation.
Because you didn't have the paperwork then either?
No, because she put in a complaint against me, and they had to follow up to see what the complaint.
What kind of complaint?
That I repossessed
What kind
her
of
car.
complaint did you put in with the sheriff's department?
That he repossessed my car
And that you
without any
didn't owe
knowledge.
him money? Well, repossessions are usually without your knowledge.
But usually, I thought that in Florida, a sheriff comes to you, to your house or something, and tells you.
No, notifying you that they're going to take your car is clearly not one of them because there wouldn't be a lot of repossessions if that were the case. I can tell you. You know why I can tell you? Douglas, tell her why I can tell her.
You're looking at the repo man.
I was a repo man in a prior life. I actually worked for a bank doing repossessions. I had a nice deep voice when I was 19 years old and in college, but so I wasn't actually physically allowed by my parents to go out and actually physically repossess the car, but I did several times. Put your hand down. I'm talking and it's interesting. Okay. You make me feel like you have no interest in what I'm saying when you're okay. But what I don't understand is why would it take the Broward Sheriff's Department a year to investigate this? Why don't you just show them your contract at that point?
I hired an attorney. He did everything he had to do.
Well, then if you hired an attorney, your attorney would have a copy of your contract.
The district attorney's office had a hold on it also until they straightened whatever they straightened
Straighten
out.
what? Dude, help yourself out.
I don't know what they straightened
Help yourself out a little. Show me, but you can't. Did you really think that you were going to fly in here from Florida as a dealer and be able and be sued over capriciously repossessing a car and come in without a stitch of proof? Now that I hear that even if you couldn't find it in your office, you could have called your lawyer and said, hey, do you have a copy of the contract? You could have called the Broward Sheriff's Department and say, hey, did I give you a copy of the contract? You could have gone to the state of Florida and said, when I perfected this lien, did I give you? You could have done 1,000 things. You walked in with your hands in your pocket, and you're looking at me saying, all right, well then, back. Okay? You used it for 7 months. That's worth something. You don't get to use cars for free for 7 months. All right? You paid him $6. I'm going to find that the use of the car is worth $2. I'm going to order you to return $4,000 to the plaintiff. That's my judgment.
Well, here comes the car dealer. Let's see what he has to say about the outcome of this case. What comment here?
I should have had my paperwork in order, and I didn't for whatever reason. But there was a contract, and that's why she didn't pay, and that's why I repossessed it.
Yeah, well, you should have had your paperwork in order. And how can you come in here with no proof like that?
Well, I have,
when you're a dealer.
Because I have the paperwork from the motor vehicle. I thought that would be proof enough.
That's not giving Judge Milian a lot of credit. She requires more than that.
I understand
You should have known that. All right, round the corner this way. Sure. Okay, so come on in here. Tell me what your feeling is on the outcome here and what you got out of it.
Oh, I'm just glad it's over with, finally. It's taken 2.5 years for this, and I'll never, ever do business with that man again.
Your bro says he told you that he saw the handwriting on the wall there. What'd you see?
I knew he was a crook. Just looking at him, I knew he was a crook. But I've also talked to other people who have done business with him and not come out on the very good end of it.
Right, and so you didn't.
I didn't know this
Why didn't you listen to
2.5 years ago. I did not know this.
He didn't tell you?
But, well, no.
Thanks for asking, though.
Harvey?
Okay, even though the deal was undone, the judge made the plaintiff pay for the use of the truck because it's only fair.
This is the plaintiff, Edward Bernard Lydell. He says he bought a car from the defendant's dealership, paid $2,000 cash and financed the rest. Next thing he knows, he's sitting in a diner having lunch and his new car is being repossessed. That's right. The bank the defendant found was snatching the car because his loan was denied. Now the slimy defendant won't return his $2,000 deposit, so he's suing. This is the defendant, Joshua Becker. He says the plaintiff's an obnoxious guy, and he should have followed his first instinct and should have refused to do business with him. Once the plaintiff got the car in his possession, he canceled the insurance on it. And since it was a financed car, he had it repoed. The finance company also refused to deal with the plaintiff because they couldn't verify his credit information. The deal was killed, and the rude dude is now pot out of luck. He's accused of snatching a car off the street.
All parties, please raise your right hands. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Mr. Liddell, and who's Randisha Atwell?
My sister.
Okay, because you bought the car together?
Yes.
All right, you are suing the company the defendant works for. You've asked us not to mention the company name, and you are what is your title there?
General manager.
Okay, your name is Joshua Becker?
Correct.
Okay. For the $2,000 that you put down on a car that they ended up repossessing when you either did not get financing or canceled your insurance. So tell me what happened here.
I bought the car, financed the car.
You bought the car on what date?
November the 1st.
Okay. And when you say you financed the car, how did you finance the car November 1st?
I was told that their company do not do in-house loans, so it would be financed, and they go through multiple lenders. I received denial letters from Regents Acceptance Court and also FT Acceptance Court.
Let me see your contract. I don't understand. He puts down $2,000 and you let him drive off with the car?
That's not correct.
Okay.
His loan was approved before he left off in the vehicle by FT Acceptance.
Oh, and then what happened?
Okay, so there's two processes. Okay, they are approved based on the information that they submit to us, that we submit to the lender.
Right.
Then there's a verification process that they are driving the car, and we're out the money until the verifications are all complete.
That seems so risky. Why don't you just wait until the verification? How long does the verification process take?
It depends. This is extreme subprime. FT Acceptance is our lender for
people with really bad credit.
Our worst.
Right.
So the verification process is tedious. Let me give you an example what delays verifications. Phone numbers get disconnected. Insurance gets canceled. Et cetera, et cetera.
So in this case, you are both in agreement that he had financing through these folks pending verification. What went wrong, though?
What went wrong is on the 20th, I called the dealership, and one of the workers told me they can't find me in their system. Then on December 16th...
Wait. So for a month and a half, what are you doing?
Yes, nothing.
Oh, okay. But so are you two talking, and
No.
does he know that you know you haven't been paid for the car?
Absolutely.
Right. So are you talking to the folks to figure out why you haven't been paid?
Absolutely.
And what happened?
Well, what I did was I printed out an email from the lender.
Can I see the email?
I believe you have it. You're going to see an FTM.
What's the date of the email?
It's December 13th.
Insurance canceled,
Okay,
PORNOV pay stub. What does that mean?
The funder who's working on the deal is telling us what's wrong with the loan. You'll see that insurance canceled there.
Did you cancel the insurance?
I switched, and I bought Josh a copy of the insurance the same day that he requested, and that was the 13th. And
The 13th of what?
Of December, the same day.
But by then, they had already denied your loan?
It's not about them denying the loan. He denied his own loan. He had 45 days from purchase to make his first payment. It just so happens on that day, he calls the lender, not us, and cancels his deal, tells them, I don't want to go through with the financing. I want my money back. Okay? So what happens
How do you know what you just said?
They told me.
Okay, do you have an affidavit to that effect?
No, I don't. So it's worthless. Okay. Let's just assume I didn't say that.
No. If it happened, I want to know about it. What happened? What did you call the dealer on the 16th when you called the dealer? What did you tell him?
He knows what he said.
I called them. Well, they called me on the 17th. Here's their letterhead, typed on their letterhead.
Yeah, I read that, and it says that you asked them not to go forward with the transaction.
On the 17th, because the 16th, they already took the car.
It actually doesn't give a date that you called them. What it says, that letter's dated the 17th. Here, let me see that.
He called them on the 16th.
But doesn't he want the car? Was there a problem with the car?
The car was working fine, but the payment was due. What he tried to do was driving for 6 weeks. When the payment was due, cancel the financing. Therefore, you have to give me my money back now because I wasn't approved for financing. He was approved for financing.
Except for that they never finished the verification part, right?
The verification was done on the 16th, other than insurance, and then he called up.
They sent him an email. They sent the dealership an email on the 13th saying that you had canceled your insurance.
I switched insurance from Geico to Direct because Direct was cheaper, and I'm on the fixed income.
Prove to me that you never lapsed in insurance.
Can't.
How do you know? That's my bet too, but just...
I know we can't. You know
oh, no. If you never lapsed in insurance, you'd have paperwork from the insurance company and a canceled check to show me that you paid the other company and that you never lapsed in insurance. Where is it? Because if you don't have it, you're really without a paddle. See, you're suing to get your deposit back, which would mean that you drove a car for a month and a half for free.
He tried to get cute.
All right. You guys end up repossessing the car because, finish that sentence.
We took the car because the car did not have valid insurance, period.
Right. Because if he crashes it...
We're out the money, and I'm sure he's not going to pay me back.
Probably not. So it all boils down to you proving to me that you had insurance.
I bought Josh, me and my mother bought Josh the copy, the new insurance. You can see the date. That's the same day Josh requested the new insurance.
Which is what date?
That was the 13th of December. And I also
Did that happen? You're vacillating.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
my mind was somewhere else.
Well, you might better be here. Listen to my question. He says
no, I don't have insurance. I never received new insurance from them, period.
Okay.
No. You know, he was approved all
So you
along.
think he's running the scam on you?
I know he is. I know exactly what he's doing. It's not the first time this has happened. I know what he's doing.
You think that what he's doing is intending all along to drive the car until the first payment's due?
100%. He drove the car for 6 weeks.
How does he have control over when they approve him? They could approve him 4 days later.
I don't know that he thought it that through. That thoroughly.
You say he never came to you to show you other insurance. The thing is, let me just explain to you. Hold on one second.
Sorry.
You know, even though I know he hesitated when I asked him that, and he was thinking, what incentive would a dealership have to not have you financed? It's in his best interest to get the financing to go through because then they get the money and you're out of their hair. So I find it hard to believe that you actually brought him proof of some insurance.
After he took the car.
And I see the letter from them saying, during the underwriting process and prior to funding purchasing, you requested that we not finalize a transaction. They don't put a date.
They called me and my sister because she's the co-signer on the loan.
And they called you on what?
And they tried to finish the verification process, and I told Stanley, I said, do you not know they took the car?
But I see from them, they're the ones who told him that you canceled the insurance.
Yes.
So they weren't going to finalize you because you don't have insurance on the car. No insurance. What's POR, NOV, pay stub? What's POR?
Proof of residence.
So he hasn't given proof of residence, and it's now December 13th, and he got the car November 1st.
Correct. Or he did, and it's not valid because it's too old.
Let me ask you a question. Did you have like a personal problem with him, like a personal in the sense of that it got personal?
Okay, I don't know him at all. I don't know his sister. I never met them prior to the sale.
But according to your testimony, they got nasty.
Oh, yeah, I could show you. I didn't, but, well, I responded one time, and I wish I wouldn't have. But sure, his sister was telling me she knew where me and my girlfriend lived, and that she would handle, whatever.
What'd she say?
Threats, I'll show them to you if you'd like.
Yeah, I do want to
I'd absolutely like to show them to you. Can you give me a second to pull it up?
Sure.
Let me know when you pull it up.
See, what this is all about is whether you get that $2,000 back. There's no question the car has to stay over there because you never paid for it. You paid $2,000, nothing else. You're arguing to me, Judge, I should get my money back because I didn't do anything wrong. They repossessed it without a basis to repossess it. I see where they get notice that you've canceled the insurance. Do you verify that he's canceled the insurance?
Yeah.
How do you verify it?
Call Geico. They have an automated system.
And what day, you learned that on the 13th and you repossessed it on the 16th?
Yes.
And you got the email on the 13th. So between the 13th and the 16th, do you make any effort to reach out to him?
Of course. Every day we call them. You need insurance. You need this. We chase them every day, all day. That's what we do all day long at work. You'll see there, this is the day after she was repossessed. She starts threatening me or telling me that she's filing her lawsuit. I asked her to stop texting my phone. Please call the landline. She keeps texting me, and then I reacted. You see where she says, I know you live in Weston? I know where you are, you and your girlfriend.
No, that comes after you say to her, I love taking cars from pieces of blank like you guys. Take care and may God bless.
Correct.
Then she says, I know you live in Weston.
Right.
So,
okay, so
you got nasty first.
Okay, I
because
reacted.
everything else she said was, I'm going to sue you, I'm going to sue you.
Correct.
And then you acted like trash, and then she trashed right back. Okay.
Actually,
You
Judge,
stay in Weston, I know where you stay, and haha, I got another car, you ain't. Better watch your back. Thanks, this is going to be going in my lawsuit, so the judge will know you meant to take the car. So, well, yeah, I pretty much know he meant to take the car. Here's what it all boils down to. I need you to prove to me that you paid that insurance and you didn't just get a binder on the phone like everybody gets. Do you have a canceled check for that? And then I also need you to prove to me that you conveyed that to them and to the finance people.
Well, you can call my mother.
I'm not going to call your mother. That is not a response you give a judge when you decide to file a lawsuit and go to court. Call my mother. I can't, it's just not. Okay. So here's what we have, folks. There's a couple of things here that aren't making sense to me. Okay. Number one, when I ask you if they came in with the proof of insurance, you hesitated, but that's all right. But you hesitated, and that has stuck in my head. Number two, when I asked you, can you prove that you had insurance, you told me to call your mommy. But then you hand me, during the trial, a piece of paper that I'm looking at for the new insurance, and the date on it is December 13th. You get the email from these folks on the 13th saying he has no insurance. Maybe he ran out and got insurance because you guys called him and said, we're going to repossess the car because you have no insurance. I don't know.
Can I say something?
But couldn't you guys just wait one more day to repossess the car?
Well, I have a couple.
You know what I'm referring to, right? If you waited one more day, you'd have.
No, we did.
Two reasons to repossess the car.
Correct. Well, he did miss the payment because he got repossessed after the close of business that day.
What was the time of the repossession?
After close of business.
I don't have
everybody
talks a lot. Everybody smack talks and nobody provides proof.
I don't have it. So.
Okay. Why don't you have the time? Show me the repossession papers.
Because I believe it's clear by him not having insurance and insurance lapsing. Let me ask you something.
When did the insurance with Geico lapse?
Prior to the 13th.
No. See, you just keep doing this to me. I keep asking. See, if I know that he spent a week without insurance,
he did.
Prove it. You keep telling me all the things that somebody else would tell me. Forget.
Well, here's what he did. He asked you to call his mom. I'd say let's call Geico.
Yeah, and I told him forget it. Why should I tell you go call Geico, Judge? Okay, same for you. I'm asking you proof to me from when he was without insurance, because the only day you have proof of him not having insurance is the email that got sent to you saying no insurance.
I believe that was I don't believe that was the first funding notice that said he didn't have insurance.
Can I have the other one?
Yeah, I don't have it.
You guys slay me.
Yeah,
I also have the police report with the exact time and date.
Oh, let's see.
By any means, do you have any proof that he actually paid that binder and he didn't make it?
Yes. According to them, he paid that day the 100. How much?
I paid actually $300.
Didn't insurance lapse for him to go get a new policy?
Completed. Hold on one second. Wait a second. Okay, wait. Let me just finish this thought first. Car repossessed. Well, you're a fast talker, but then when you don't give me a chance to verify if what you're saying is true. Okay. And as it turns out, the car was repossessed at $253. Okay. But you and I both know that you didn't have financing set up for the next 3 hours, right? Okay, now I want to understand something. What I don't understand is, once you have the car back, there's no more talking?
Wrong. I think the point being missed here is his deal was never rejected from the bank. He called in on the 16th.
The 17th.
No, he called in on the 16th before the car was repossessed and said, I don't want to go.
You can't prove that. And he denies that, and you don't have anything that says.
That's exactly what happened.
Then prove it. All you need is just an affidavit from the person who told you that, from that company. Because the only thing from that company is the opposite of what you're saying. All they say is that at some point you called us, and so we returned everything to you on the 17th. They specifically don't commit to a time that he called them. He says, I called them after I got repossessed. So because I got repossessed. Why am I going to continue with bank papers? So what happened after the repossession? What discussions did you guys have?
The text messages that next day.
Because, you know, the theory that you were talking about, that it was a scam from the beginning, kind of doesn't hold water if he has insurance on the 13th. It looks like he wants the car, or he wouldn't insure it. Right? I don't understand how it got this bad.
One, I don't believe that the insurance was canceled on the 13th. I believe it was around the 10th. To clarify, you know, your question to me and my answer, when I was selling them the car, and I probably have done this twice in my life, I actually tried to hand them their down payment when they were buying the car back and said, I don't want to sell you a car because of the show that they were putting on in the showroom and all the aggravation that was going.
These folks.
Yeah. I actually, and I know you remember this, I called him in my office because everything was a rush. They had to go, they had to take the car, and we were evil. So I actually said to him, why don't we do this? Here's your money back. I don't want to sell you a car. His sister came in the office with him and another gentleman, I don't know who it was, and basically begged me, no, we're sorry. We shouldn't have behaved like that. Please sell us the car. I did it, you know.
Did you have some problem?
I shouldn't have done it.
Yes.
Okay.
I shouldn't have done it. We were keeping them
everybody
too long.
stop, because I want to read something here. In the text that your sister, this is your sister texting him?
Yeah.
Okay. She says on December 17th, well, I found out who the owner at your car lot is. I'm at the courthouse now, and you will be served tomorrow or Thursday since you told me I can't get. She doesn't finish. So he texts her, okay, so you're not redeeming the car, and we should take the file back from the bank, which indicates that they want to continue to try to work it out. No money was given by the bank, so it wasn't a finance by the bank. That doesn't sound like you were trying to keep the car. And then it descends into all the other stuff that we talked about. Very disconcerting. Let me see the original contract, please. Is it in here? What's the date that you order the repossession?
16th.
The missing piece is when was Geico canceled?
I would guess that if Geico was called, they could probably confirm when it was canceled.
Where's the paperwork from Geico?
I don't have it.
You do not have the paperwork from your insurance. You have it? Hand it over. All right. Court is in recess for a moment.
All rise.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if the guy did let his insurance lapse, is the insurance company justified, or the defendant justified, in repossessing the car?
Yes, absolutely. Because they were responsible as one of the terms of the agreement of having the car.
Yeah, but there are lots of terms in an agreement. Is insurance that big a thing that you would repossess it over?
Absolutely. That's the most important thing. It protects the liability.
You agree with that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Unanimity down here going inside the courtroom.
Be seated. Come to order, please.
I'm going to tell you what happened now that I've figured it out. You claimed to me, oh, I didn't cancel insurance, Judge. I wasn't canceled. I just switched insurance because I found a cheaper insurance. And that you brought that binder December 13th over to him and showed it to him. You tell me, I don't think he did that. No, he didn't do that. I don't remember him doing that. I'm not sure whether you know or don't know. But then it's bothering me. Why is it the 13th when he's getting insurance? If he has a premium due December 1st, then why isn't he switching on the 30th of November? And what's the answer to that? Just say it, because I've already called Geico and I know.
I didn't pay them.
That's right. So you've put me on this wild goose chase when the truth is you breached the contract by letting the insurance lapse since the 1st of December. Now, the only question that I have before me is, are you entitled to the $2,000 back because they breached? All right? But you were already in breach by having the car uninsured. So I find in favor of the defendant, you're not entitled to the money back.
Well, here's the plaintiff. The judge has figured it out. You didn't exactly tell the truth.
Well, she was right, and right is wrong is wrong. So.
Why'd you go into court and try to do that?
Because when he sent me the text messages and saying he loved taking cars from people like me, it seemed like that was his intentions all along.
So that's when you decided to
Yeah.
try to win at any cost against him?
Yeah.
All right, right down this way. Follow Officer McIntosh this way. All right, so that was a battle in the courtroom here. Step in a little bit more now. Tell me what's going through your mind here as you come out after this.
It was rough. I think the ruling is fair.
You knew all along that this man had lied in the courtroom, but do you regret having repossessed that car too soon?
In hindsight, you wait one more day to make it easier, but I still believe we were within our right to do so.
All right, okay. Harvey?
Well, here's the thing. If you finance a car, you better know what the terms are, because you have to absolutely abide by all of the terms of the deal, or else they can refinance. And this gentleman is right. Insurance is especially important.
This is the plaintiff, Charlie Kane. He says he rented a car to the defendant, and the guy brought it to New York City, which is against the rules he signed when he rented it. He comes to find out the car's gone missing because the defendant never returned it at the end of the rental agreement. No one knows what happened to the thing. Either it was stolen, impounded, or the plaintiff chopped it up and sold it for parts. Regardless, this guy owes him for the value of the car, and he's suing him here and now for the $4,000 it was worth. This is the defendant, Michael DeMacco. He says his friend's mom had a brain tumor, and he had to take the car to the city in an emergency. Unfortunately, the car was gone the next day, and he's come to find out it had over $9,000 worth of parking tickets on it, so it got repossessed by the city. He's not paying for the car. It wasn't his fault it got confiscated, and he doesn't owe the plaintiff a thing. He's accused of not following the rules. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $700, the cost of a rental car to get home and inconvenience.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff rented a car to the defendant and it disappeared, but the defendant says it looks like it was impounded because it had $9,000 in parking tickets. It's the case of Park It Here.
Sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. BSK Enterprises doing business as Rent-A-Wreck of Poughkeepsie, represented here by Charles Kane. You're the owner?
Yes,
You're
Judge.
suing Mr. DeMacco Jr., Michael DeMacco Jr.,
Yes, ma'am.
for $4,000, what you say is the cost of a 2007 Chevy Malibu. And you are counterclaiming against him $700. Tell me what happened.
Well, Judge, I'm the owner of Rent-A-Wreck of Poughkeepsie. We're a small auto rental agency, and we rented to Mr. DeMacco on...
What is Rent-A-Wreck is a franchise,
yes,
right?
It's a... Yes,
Tell me the concept. I know what it is.
Well, it's a used car franchise. It's one of the first used car rental agencies in America. So, and we rent nice, clean used cars instead of new cars.
And how much do you charge?
Around $29 a day.
Okay.
To 34, depending on things. And
do you require people to leave a credit card?
Yes, and if they don't, there's a $300 deposit.
Okay.
And I think in this gentleman's case, we took a $300
And
deposit.
what's the youngest you rent to?
Well, we can't age discriminate, so we can rent till up to 18 years old and over.
So 18 years old and over can rent?
You can by the laws of New York, yes.
Okay,
I mean,
there you have it, folks. Those of you who've been trying to rent a car and can't.
you can come down.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a surcharge, though, So,
yeah, yeah, well, there always is.
Yeah.
All right, so he rents a car from you for how many days?
He rented him for 3 days, from July 18th to the 21st, and he didn't return the vehicle. And we spoke to him on the phone. We didn't hear from him.
When did you speak to him?
A few days, after it was supposed to have been returned. And he really didn't have a clue where it was.
What did he say had happened to it?
Well, he was in New York City. Also on our contracts, which we have signed here, that vehicles are not allowed in the 5 boroughs. It's just
in New York City?
Yes, and he
Why
signed.
not?
Well, because what happens is a lot of people go down there. There's parking tickets. They're expensive. It's out of our league, and a lot of things can happen down there. We're kind of a small local town.
Why don't you just spell it out? Because you're beating around the bush.
Well, we do spell it out.
No, I meant with me here.
Oh, okay. Well, Well, in New York City, there's some spots that are bad in the 5 boroughs. Not to.
So you don't want them to bring the car into New York City
we don't like
because
them
it's a
down
risk?
there. Well,
yeah, but it's more than that because people get tickets in New York City.
People get tickets,
and then cars get impounded.
And historic.
Did this car have tickets on it?
This car had tickets.
How
well,
many?
Not this particular car.
Not this particular car.
Over the years, we've had a lot of tickets that built up that go onto our license plate.
Right.
Unfortunately,
so even though people are renting the car and they're supposed to pay their own tickets,
they don't pay. And we're in litigation and negotiation with them, and there's a lot of money. So that's another reason why. But even before all of this, we just didn't allow them to get down there.
All right. So he tells you, I don't know where the car is. The car got towed.
He didn't know where the vehicle was. He didn't even say what happened, and he didn't return.
Did he tell you he was in New York City?
He did. He called once and he said, I was in New York City. I said, you violated the contract because, we clearly have it stated, and I have it initialed that they're not allowed to go down there. And
so
if they
what
are
happened?
compensated.
What happened?
What happened was I did rent the car from him, and a friend of mine's mom had gotten sick and asked me if I could drive him to the hospital, which I did.
Was the hospital in New York City?
No, Westchester County. He lived in New York City. We went to Westchester Medical Center. I picked him up in the city and drove him to Westchester Medical Center.
Okay.
And we ended up spending the day at the hospital. His mom got a brain tumor, and we spent the day at the hospital. I drove him home around midnight, and I decided I should spend the night there instead of driving all the way back to
that's where you stayed in the city.
That's where I
and
stayed
so
in the
you
city.
parked it where?
Right in front of his house.
Right, but...
In the Bronx.
Okay. So you brought it to the Bronx, but you knew you weren't supposed to have the car.
No, I actually didn't know. All I know is when I rented the car, he was like, initial here, sign here, have a good day. And that's what I did.
Well, that's your own fault if you're
not reading. I understand that now.
I mean, did you read that contract?
Not at all. Not at all.
No, did you read it afterwards when he said, give me the money?
It was in the glove compartment of the car, so when it got towed away.
So you never read the contract?
I glanced at it. Did I read the whole thing?
Would you like to glance at it now?
Now it's a little late. Well, I'm sure if he said I initialed it, I guess I
truer words have never been spoken. Now's a little late, Judge, for me to read the contract. Hand this over to this nice man and ask him to read out loud what's highlighted in yellow. Just read that.
Unfortunately, I don't bring my glasses, but I'll do my best.
Now, here we go. You know what, Douglas? Do a dramatic reading for me.
Thank you very much.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't bring my glasses.
When I got you, you were a young man.
Let me see if I can. Let's see.
For real,
no,
give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
That's completely
We grew old together. That's so sad. No refunds for early returns. Parking tickets are the responsibility of the renter. No vehicles are allowed to New York City and/or 5 boroughs. If vehicle is impounded in these areas, customer will be responsible for paying the cash value of the vehicle or impound amount. Wow, that's kind of serious.
Yeah, I'm sure he
initialed it.
pretty good with that, huh?
No, he probably doesn't. If he just kept the car in New York City, there wouldn't be a problem.
Well,
right? Like
there are exceptions to the rules, aren't there?
Hey, no, what's your exception to the rule?
My exception
you stayed
is
over
a friend of my
house?
mom. Yeah.
I mean, I thought the hospital was there. Now it turns out the hospital's not even there.
No.
You just went to a friend's house and didn't feel like driving back and left the car on a New York City street when it explicitly says you can't take the car to New York City. I don't believe for a second that this was like, here, hurry up and sign this before you read it or any such nonsense. I am confident that these guys tell you guys, do not take the car into New York City. We have one rule here. No New York City. You cannot take the car into New York City. Right. Repeat after me. I cannot take the car. I mean, because they know that they're going to lose the car. Where's the car, by the way?
In the pound or
look at that. Look at that. But how do you know where the car is?
Because I called him as soon as I realized the car was missing. He told me it's my responsibility to figure out where it is. So I dialed 311, and they told me he owes over $9,000 worth of tickets.
Well,
and they impounded the car.
Try to remember, it's not. I mean, the car has received. You say. Do you have anything like that in writing?
No.
How do I know you didn't just steal the car?
Well, that's what I'm.
Okay. You want to call 311? They'll tell you. I'm sure you're a judge.
No, I want you to come with something from 311 because you're afraid of me, but that didn't happen. It's a little late for that now. So I assume you've called and you've verified it.
I think my manager attempted, but Judge,
No, don't go on to the next thing.
Oh, okay.
Clearly, somebody at your place called. Because there's no way that your car's missing and that you don't call to see what happened to it. So you confirmed that, in fact, it had been impounded.
I think my manager
And how many tickets had this car accrued?
Well, it's not the car, it's the agency as a whole, because vehicles We have 70 cars on the fleet.
And they're all registered to
people,
the same agency.
And they
I got
hit the BSK Enterprises.
So it's not
doing
one
businesses.
car with that many tickets, it's all of your
It's
cars.
a majority of them. Because
And
when
they
when they
say
run the plate,
rent-a-wreck owes them
when they run the
$9,000
plate, they
in tickets.
automatically know. I guess it's under the scoff law or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're over a certain amount, they take the vehicles now.
Good Lord.
So.
And now you have a counterclaim. This is funny. You have a counterclaim against them for $100 for inconveniencing you, $100 for missed work, and $500 the amount you paid for the rental car. How do you figure?
I had the car one night. It got towed away because of his tickets.
You sure it didn't get towed away because you went to New York City?
Well, like I said, Your Honor, I didn't read the contract fully. I didn't have it if the
And
car
nobody
got
told you
towed.
don't take the car to New York City?
Okay, who has rented a car in this world? You have? Have you ever read the rental agreement?
Every time, but I'm OCD and ADD, so.
You've actually read it?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I assumed. Really?
I
you
read every contract.
And you processed it?
Definitely.
Huh? Rented a car?
Rented them.
And?
Never checked it. Never checked the contract. Never.
That got in trouble from it?
No, not yet. Hopefully.
God, am I crazy? Look at this dude. Does he kind of look Al Pacino-y? Yeah. You got that?
Yeah, I get it once in a while.
Oh yeah. What does he say again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
There you go. Going inside the courtroom.
What do you think's going to happen here? I mean, I didn't sign this.
don't
See,
know.
here's the thing. This is a contract.
Uh-huh.
Okay? You entered into the contract. The contract only allowed you to drive the car in a city that is not the 5 boroughs. Okay? If you brought it into the boroughs, then it actually says what the problem will be. It says if it gets impounded, you either pay for the impound or you bring it back. He has a dispute with the city. I don't think he has a leg to stand on. That's part of his doing business. So what does he do? The smart thing, he says, you know what? No more cars in New York City because all of my renters are just, there's got to be a reason why someone goes to rent a wreck instead of Hertz. There has to be a reason. So I presume you're cheaper.
A lot of things. There's a lot of good reasons. We take people that are younger. We take people that don't have credit cards. We take people that don't have car insurance. We're very liberal because they're used cars, although they mean a lot to us, but they're not brand new.
Very sentimental value.
Well,
but so it's, there's a place for that in our community. Thank God for them because you couldn't rent from Hertz. So I guess, or you wouldn't be renting from Rent-A-Wreck. So they have a business plan, and the business plan has been around for a long time, and it works. But we can't have people like you put them out of business by not listening to what you said you would do. And now what? Where do you get that this car's worth $4,000?
Judge, I think in the paperwork I did in the
I looked up Kelley Blue Book. It's nowhere near that. Where do you get that? So show it to me.
I used NADA, which is...
Why? You didn't like Kelley Blue Book?
Well, we didn't have that available.
Okay, let me see what you've got.
I'll just give you that's the NADA value.
Thank
and then the
you.
one behind that, Judge, is the vehicle that's for sale at a local dealership.
Yeah, I don't care about that. Rough trade-in, $1,200. Average trade-in, $1,900. Clean trade-in, $2,500. Clean retail, $4,375. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kelley Blue Book, which isn't that off from clean trade-in, really. Private party sale on Kelley Blue Book is $2,600. You've left me no choice. This is a contract that you signed. I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $2,600. That's my verdict.
Thank you, Judge.
And in so doing, let me just make one thing very clear. I realize, because I want to take a shower now, all right? Because I know that the reason it got impounded is because the city of New York says, hey, you owe us on tickets. And I don't want to be a person who helps a guy out who's trying to avoid getting a car impounded, but why not? That's the contract that you signed. He is at war with the city on whether they should be having to pay all these fines from their renters not paying their tickets. I don't know what's going to happen between him and the city, but he took the precautions he needed to take, which is just to tell you, stay out of there. And then you didn't, and now there's consequences. I still don't feel any cleaner.
So because the defendant signed the contract, he loses this case. The plaintiff prevails. Mr. DeMarco, do you understand the judge's verdict?
I just didn't read the contract, that's all.
You learned a valuable lesson today, you know that?
Yes, I did.
You kind of stupid not to read it.
Yeah, I should have read it.
All right. Damn right you should have. You better sign some documents out there. Here comes Mr. Kane. Mr. Rent-A-Wreck. Are Rent-A-Wrecks good cars to buy?
They're great cars.
Why Rent-A-Wreck?
Well, it's just a funny name that the originator of the company called, but they're nice, clean, used cars.
Do many people rent a car and don't return it on time? Do you guys panic if that happens?
Well, unfortunately, the type of people that we rent to, because they're kind of rejects from Hertz and Avis and everything, because we give people a lot of opportunities that the other companies don't. We do have a lot of heartaches trying to get them back. They'll rent them for a couple of days, and we'll get them a week or two later, and the money isn't on their credit card. So it's a tough business, but we've been in business 18 years, and we're one of the largest in the state. So.
Well, I've often wondered what would happen if I didn't return a car on time. It would be hell to pay, wouldn't it?
Well, kind of.
Yes.
I mean, we don't come
let's
after
face
you
it,
with,
you're right.
Anything bad.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. By the way, you got to work that out with the city. What are you going to do?
We're going to get some lawyers and try to get it done.
You better get it. $9,000 worth of parking ticket. That's a lot. Harvey?
Well, look, I mean, a lot of people don't read this stuff, but even if you don't, I mean, just at least look at the captions where it comes to responsibility of the drivers.